has not won yet in 2021. They're coming off a loss at Syracuse. Notre Dame, on the other hand, their last victory was at Virginia Tech, 65-60, bringing that three-game winning streak on the road. As we get things started, Notre Dame in the Notre Dame blue uniforms and North Carolina in their home whites. As we take a look at the starting five, Mabry, Prohaska, Peoples, Westbeld, and Vaughn for the Fighting Irish.
Well, Brenda, you see Notre Dame coming out, and there's Princeton offense, a lot of movement, a lot of dives to the basket.
And travel committed on Michaela Vaughn on the first possession.
Now, I would expect Notre Dame to be in a zone, but last game Virginia Tech, Neil, obviously surprised us, got into a man-to-man for the first time. I've not seen Notre Dame run a man-to-man in a while.
Notre Dame will key it in under the basket. Westbeld off, and Stephanie Watts will bring it down for North Carolina's first possession.
North Carolina likes to push early, so watch them push, go right inside to Bailey.
Now Bailey up and under move off back iron. No score in the early going. Peoples out on the left wing, getting the screen from Vaughn. They dump inside, and Vaughn was able to get it out to Mabry. Looks like he was pushed a little bit, but Mabry off from the corner. Here's a look at the North Carolina starting five. Stephanie Watts back in the starting lineup as she scores there. She went through that tough stretch where she was 0 for 20 from three-point range, and they were taking her in and out of the lineup to see if they could get her in a rhythm. In the last game against Syracuse, she was 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, so she gets the start today and starts the scoring for the Tar Heels. Westbeld scores inside. She does a little bit of everything, this superstar freshman for Notre Dame.
Well, she does. Maddie shoots, she'll face up. You'll see her step out a lot. They look for her inside. She's a leading scorer for Notre Dame. And as a freshman, she is just dominating a lot of areas for the Fighting Irish.
SB comes up short on that drive. Westbeld, a little hesitation move. She scores again.
She could be a one-woman wrecking machine, Brenda. Just she gets going, and you've seen her face up, you've seen her drive, and then later you'll see her step out.
Let's take a look at that again.
Just really composed as a freshman. She has the ability to drive to the basket, and that makes her extremely difficult to guard when someone can shoot the three, post up, and drive. It's a difficult guard for North Carolina players to have.
You know, both these teams have a lot of talented freshmen. And Courtney Banghart in her second season at North Carolina, Neil Ivey in her first season as the head coach. A lot of similarities between these two, as we'll talk about during the course of the game. They go inside to Brunel, who is off the mark. And that one's stolen away by People. And then the foul committed by Stephanie Watts. Courtney Banghart had so much success at Princeton in her 12 years. 7 Ivy League titles and 8 NCAA tournament appearances. And Princeton never went to the NCAA tournament before Courtney Banghart arrived.
Well, Courtney's done a great job, and we talked to her, Brendan, and she said she was in a great position at Princeton, and she was waiting for the right position for her to leave, a great opportunity, and then when North Carolina came open, absolutely loves it. Roy Williams has been a great friend to her, watches a lot of the women's basketball games, so she's at a perfect place for her now.
Yeah, terrific stories about how much she loves Chapel Hill and the community and what the team is doing in the community. And she said, I don't know which team of mine you're going to see today. Sometimes we have been fantastic, and They have not been shooting well, though, during conference play, as Deja Kelly has a chance to go to the free throw line.
Well, that comes with
Walker.
That comes with youth, Brenda. They're young, and so what group shows up is playing against Notre Dame going to inspire them? Are they going to play scared? Are they going to come out and just play? You don't know what you get, and each game as freshmen, they're growing, they're learning the system, they're becoming more, being more consistent, and that will come with time as they keep playing.
Beautiful pass inside Dara Mabry to Sam Brunell to put Notre Dame up by 3.
There's Notre Dame zone, very active. North Carolina's going to have to get into the gaps, trying to get open looks.
Watts knocks that one down. He mentioned she was 3 for 6 from beyond the arc in the last game. Number 3 all-time three-point shots maker in North Carolina history, and then deep on that one from 3. And Bailey's coming off that terrific game against Syracuse, even though they lost 22 points in that game, a lot of that face-up game.
Well, there's Bailey showing you what all she could do. That was a face-up, and so she's not just a block player. She's really worked on her game, and it shows.
And Kelly fouled once again. Will get another opportunity to go to the free throw line. The foul is on Dara Mabry. Great offensive rebound. That's a second chance opportunity, and getting position, kicking it out to a three-point shooter. So at the free throw line is Deja Kelly. She's an 80% free throw shooter on the year, but she's already missed 2 here in the early going. And that one rattles her out.
She'll settle in. She's letting the crowd noise get to her, Brenda.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have crowd noise. Knocked out of bounds by Watts. Good hustle play.
Notre Dame, you'll see, spreads the floor. A lot of cuts across the lane, and North Carolina's very concerned about not being just reactive. If they're reactive, they're late. They've got to be proactive. Take them off their cuts, and then you see a steal.
Just like that, the proactive defense by Watts. Mabry all the way, right past Watts. And that is the younger sister of both Michaela and Marina. She transferred over from Virginia Tech this season, so in her first season for Notre Dame.
Well, that family was born to shoot threes. They can all score and find the bottom of the bucket, and she's the youngest sister, but she's carrying on that tradition.
Usby with the rebound. Poloshinska into the game, a transfer from Illinois out top. There's a shot clock at 10. Bailey with a couple of big steps to score.
Again, North Carolina's got to find an answer for Bailey. She's faced up, she drove, and now she posted up on the block. Tough to guard.
No offensive rebounders anywhere around for Notre Dame, and the Tar Heels can push ahead. Bailey with that face-up game, that one rims in and out.
Both these teams really like to run. They like to get in their transition game, and both defenses are making sure that they don't score in the open court.
Destiny Walker, who started her career at UNC, gets that jumper. Both Stephanie Watts for North Carolina and Destiny Walker started their careers together here at North Carolina, and boy, what a road they have both gone through with injuries and transfers to face up in today's game.
Well, and they've gone to 2 different universities and still continuing to play. And Brendan, we'll talk about this later, but they may both have an extra year due to the pandemic, so that's an interesting story.
Holoshinsky with the 3-pointer for North Carolina. So North Carolina had some scoring going in the early part of this game. Stepping back as Brunel knocks down a 3-pointer. Second 3-pointer of the game for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame loves to pick and pop, and that's going to be that should be a focal point for North Carolina. You see Brunel screen, and then she popped out to the 3, didn't roll to the basket.
Holoshinsky with that miss. The battle inside Chitenge. We have not had a whistle for a while, and it's already to the 2-minute mark before our first media timeout. Okay, now a break in the action.
Well, you'll see Notre Dame. What do? They drive the basket.
And then both of them in their junior years encountered injuries. And then Stephanie Watts ended up transferring to USC to get her graduate degree. And Destiny Walker ended up transferring now to Notre Dame. Last year, she was all ACC honorable mention, 14.5 points a game for Notre Dame. So, boy, the past of those 2 players have been pretty unique.
Well, Brenda, I can't imagine going to school that much. I'd love to play on the basketball side of it, but wow, they're going to have master's degrees, a couple undergraduate degrees if they keep playing, and they have that opportunity because of the pandemic. They can be awarded yet another year to play for their respective teams.
Yeah, this is their 6th year. They could come back for a 7th year, both of them.
They're young adults now, right now. They're young adults.
Shot clock down to 7 for Notre Dame. Brunel, 3 on the shot clock. Rahaska fires it up, too short.
Just a little slow coming out of the timeout, and you got to understand that Abby's not a great 3-point shooter. She probably should have driven the ball, but just let the clock get away from them.
Kennedy Todd Williams into the game for North Carolina. Misses that attempt, and here comes Destiny Walker. And a foul called on Michaela Vaughn. Vaughn picks up the illegal screen.
Well, just in transition, running down the floor. Vaughn's running middle of the lane, looking for the ball. And what does the defense do? Get between the player and the basket, draws the charge. You just got to be aware. Vaughn's got to be aware of what's in front of her, not just see the ball, see the basket in that area as well.
Todd Williams picks up her dribble, steps through, too strong. Mabry up top. Almost throws it away. Prohaska tracks it down.
Notre Dame's just not in a rhythm right now, and that's because North Carolina's defense has really put a lot of pressure on the offense.
Walker misses. Here comes Stephanie Watts with under 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Holoshinsky off the backboard and commits an offensive foul with 1.9 seconds to go in the quarter.
Everybody laying their bodies out in front of, in between the ball, and Vaughn gets a charge. She gave one, and now she gets one. So going back and forth with great defensive play.
1.9 seconds to go, and Walker not going to fire up a shot. A back and forth affair in the early going. North Carolina shooting better than it has been lately, and they in the first quarter with a 1-point lead as we start the second quarter. all the stats are pretty much even, but you like so far, Holly, the way North Carolina is playing defense and disrupting Notre Dame.
Well, they've amped up their defense, Brenda. They are all over the floor, hands, high hands, really disrupting Notre Dame's flow. Their offense is a flow offense, and North Carolina's doing a great job of disrupting and making Notre Dame not take quality shots.
Watts short on that attempt. North Carolina, good rebounding team, but it's all even right now on the board. Destiny Walker and SB pushing ahead.
Just an up and down game, and you're going to see this the whole game. Both teams loving the transition, loving to kick out for threes.
Watts made her first three-pointer, but hasn't made one since then. She's 1 for 3 from beyond the arc, but leading the way for North Carolina with 7. What do you like about North Carolina's defense?
Well, besides that foul right there, they've been really disruptive, and to disrupt Notre Dame, you've got to make sure that you put a body on them. You're physical without getting a foul called. So you don't want anyone to cross in the lane across your face. You want to make sure you change their direction. And that's what North Carolina's doing right now.
Westbeld to trigger it in. And it gets knocked away. It will stay Notre Dame basketball. That foul earlier was on Usby for North Carolina. Her first foul. 18 on the shot clock for the Irish. And then a foul away from the basketball. Another illegal screen on Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn's picked up two tough calls, a charge, and then something away from the ball, away from the basket, and just moving. If you're setting a screen, it's up to the cutter to run their defender into your screen. You get set, and the rest is you're done.
North Carolina has had a lot of disruptions as they make a beautiful pass down there to set up the shot. Great pass by Watts.
Great pass by Watts. Go for the high percentage shot. Could have had a jumper, went for the little put down low. Great high percentage shot for North Carolina.
Notre Dame currently sitting number 4 in ACC play with a 6-3 record in conference play. They haven't scored in almost 4.5 minutes. Brunel misses that one.
You can hear the coaches tell North Carolina, run. That's what they want. That's what they want right there.
Olszynska with the three-pointer in transition to bump the lead up to 6 for North Carolina. Olszynska all over the basketball, and then Watts with the steal in the back of it. Petra, Olszynska thought about it. Inside out, and then gets away from Chatinga, but right there to clean it up is Ustby, and North Carolina with their biggest lead of the game.
North Carolina brings some energy because your team is really in a lull right now.
You know, and Neil Ivey had the opportunity to be an assistant coach to Muffet McGraw for so many years. You know, stepped away to coach in the NBA, and then coming back as the head coach from a legend, still being mentored by that legend. You know, it's a great situation for Neil Ivey in what she's doing now with Notre Dame.
Well, I can speak from experience. She loves what she has, a passion for what she does right now for Notre Dame. But there is a lot of pressure, and her expectations are those national championship teams that have won in the past, and she expects this team right here to do the same. And it all starts with being competitive. Compete every possession.
Well, they're down by 10 now as Watts scored on the other end for North Carolina. Westbeld takes it in, and she is fouled. She'll get a chance to go to the free throw line.
And that's who That's who Notre Dame needs to get the ball to, West Belt. She hadn't touched the ball in a while. She makes things happen, whether it's going to the free throw line. But that young lady needs to touch the basketball right now.
Yeah, she's averaging 16 points a game. In this 3-game win streak, it ups it to 17 points and 9 rebounds per game for the freshman.
I love this kid. She doesn't play like a freshman. She came in, as Neil said, game ready. She had an easy transition from high school to college because of her physicalness. She's in shape and her knowledge of the game.
So she gives Notre Dame their first points of the second quarter to draw within 8. North Carolina, Holly, has not been shooting well during ACC play. They've only shot over 40% 2 times in conference play. They're shooting much better today. Janelle Bailey knocks one down there.
Well, look at their shot. They're where they're shooting from. They're shooting inside the paint. They're shooting drives, layups to the basket. High percentage shots, Brenda, and that correlates to shooting better. If you're just jacking up a 3 or shooting an off-balance shot, your shooting percentage is not going to be as high. But North Carolina's being very smart right now, taking time, trying to get the best shot that they can get.
Kick ball by Holoshinska. Resets to 20. Notre Dame shooting just 35%, 7 of 20 from the floor, just 2 of 8 from beyond the 3-point line. Mabry stops, steps back, gets the jumper.
How do you beat a team that's denying, pressuring, jumping out in the lane? You cut back door. And Mabry did just that. Read her defense, cut back door, easy pass, got a high percentage jumper.
Mabry with 4 points now for Notre Dame. She is hounding the basketball. Holoshinska from long range. That's her second 3-pointer of the game.
That was a long-range 3.
She has great range coming over from Illinois, a 40% 3-point shooter in her career at Illinois. And Courtney Banghart would like to see some of that consistency here at North Carolina. We're seeing it a little bit today. Now 2 for 3 from beyond the arc for the transfer.
She brought that shot, Brenda, from the Czech Republic. That was long.
Brunel can't get that to go. Another tough defensive stand for North Carolina. They go inside to Janelle Bailey. What a run right now for North Carolina.
The ball never touched the ground. It was great outlet, great up the sideline. Janelle Bailey, I'm telling you, she runs the floor like a guard at the post position. Easy bucket for her.
Notre Dame has only scored 4 points here in the second quarter, and they go to West Belt for that score.
Notre Dame, keep bringing it to West Belt. Keep bringing it to young ladies.
North Carolina shooting 54%, including 4 for 10 from beyond the arc. Watts has 9 points. She has the ball. Beautiful pass again by Watts. Spins in and around. Chatenge just couldn't get that one to go. And let's take a look at another one of her passes. Watts is leading the way today.
There's the transition. She sees the open player. You make a great pass. When you see an open player, you got to give it to them. And North Carolina is just spreading out this defense, making great passes, penetrating, kicking, just hitting the open player. It makes it look simple.
And boy, Stephanie Watts got bailed out that time as she got herself up in the air and was fouled by West Belt. We just showed her great passes. Stephanie Watts, Holly, already with 6 assists in this game.
Well, you talk about her, and that comes from her experience. She's been shooting the ball well, Brenda, and now when they converse on her, she's making that extra pass. And you're going to see her assists go up as she is bringing more attention to the defense.
All right, well, this is our Super Tuesday doubleheader on ESPN and the app. We start in the SEC at 7 Eastern with number 18 Alabama hosting Kentucky at Coleman Coliseum. Then we head to the ACC. Georgia Tech will be at Cameron Indoor squaring off against Duke. Notre Dame continues to struggle here. Holoshinska, 3 3-pointers now for the grad transfer from Illinois.
Well, what do you get when you have a high-powered offensive transition team against a defense that's not great in transition? North Carolina's putting up the numbers by the open court and shooting layups, and that time hit a wide-open 3.
Let's take a look again. Holoshinska just on fire from long range.
What you do is you can't let a shooter get set, and Notre Dame's letting Holoshinska get set, and boy, she has a quick release on the ball. If you're not there on the pass, you're too late.
And that was a pass from Watts. She's got more assists now than the entire team for Notre Dame does Stephanie Watts. The foul on this end was on Ustby and sends Prohaska to the free throw line to get a couple of more points on the board for Notre Dame. The hustle play by Prohaska, something you would expect from her. But Notre Dame has to find a way on this end defensively. Watts from the corner. A little miscommunication, but Walker comes away with it. Notre Dame just doesn't seem in sync right now. Mabry going to try to get them in sync and hits a 3.
Well, Mabry was on this side doing jumping jacks, so they finally saw, and Notre Dame needed that to get them going on the defensive end.
Todd Williams misses. Notre Dame within 9. And a foul as Destiny Walker drives into the paint.
And Brenda, it's interesting. Your offense kind of ramps up your defense, and so you see Notre Dame get a stop, and what do? They come down and they're in a little bit more of a flow on the offensive end, and then when they score, then their defense starts ramping up a little bit, so they're not thinking about what they didn't do on the offensive end. They're thinking about how they scored.
So Stephanie Watts picked up her second foul and will go to the bench probably for the rest of the quarter. Destiny Walker, who came to North Carolina in the same recruiting class as Stephanie Watts, at the free throw line and gets that one to go. So Notre Dame has chipped away at this lead. A lot of it is from the free throw line, as they are 6 of 6 from the line.
Well, we'll see how North Carolina handles Watts being out. She's been a great spark for them and has been all over the court and has answered everything that Notre Dame has thrown at her.
Yeah, Watts has 9 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. She's working on a triple-double today. And the foul going to be called on Destiny Walker as Janelle Bailey goes to work inside.
Well, when you have a post player that can step out, Brenda, and face the basket and has the ability to drive to the basket, it's a hard defend. Who do you put? Do you put somebody smaller on her to defend the drive, or do you got to put somebody bigger on her to make sure she doesn't score on the block? So it's a little bit of a chess game throughout this game today.
And that's really what Courtney Banghart thought, that Janelle Bailey would have the advantage inside. Boy, what a career she has had. She came in to North Carolina, ACC Freshman of the Year. She was second team All-ACC her sophomore year, first team last year, her junior year.
Well, this kid's career, she's had 40 double-doubles in her career. And I tell you, she took her conditioning seriously, dropped a lot of weight, got in great shape, wanted to have a great senior year.
And they have Peoples scores inside for Notre Dame to keep them close. North Carolina led by as many as 14 points here in the second quarter, but the Irish have closed within 6. Bailey with terrific position inside.
Just doing a great job before she gets the ball. And when North Carolina is shooting well from the perimeter, what does it do? Draws your defense out away more, and it gives an open area for Bailey to go to work.
From the corner, Prohaska missing. Todd Williams, now with Watts out, is handling the point guard. Holly, already North Carolina has 13 assists on their 16 made baskets.
Well, it's just ball movement and trying to get the right shot, and they're not rushing their shot. They're trying to hit the open player, and how are they doing that? A lot of movement, a lot of cutting through the lanes, a lot of quick, crisp passes.
And actually took to 14 assists, as you saw there on our graphic. Just good sharing of the basketball. That time, I believe that was Holoshinska with the miss, but a foul on the rebound. Anya Poole commits the foul. Well, here's our next star-studded Wednesday NBA doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app. LeBron, AD, and the Lakers are in Philly to take on Joel Embiid and the Sixers at 7:30 Eastern. Then D'Angelo Russell and the Timberwolves square off against Steph and the Warriors. We're on a first-name basis. Our coverage starts with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center at 7.
That's because you can shoot like Steph, but, Brenda.
You've never seen me shoot. Come on, Holly.
Just in my mind.
We'll just go with that. We'll just go with that. Dara Mabry can definitely shoot. She is at the free throw line. And an 86% free throw shooter in her couple of years at Virginia Tech. Her first 2 years, she was a tremendous three-point shooter, just like her older sister. She had 155 at Virginia Tech. She is shooting 46% from three-point range, but only 1 for 3 today. 1 minute to go in the quarter.
Notre Dame doesn't press a lot, Brenda, but you saw them press, trying to take a little time off the clock, slow North Carolina's rhythm down, and try to get them late in the shot clock.
Shinska, who's made 3 3-pointers, kicks out to Todd Williams. No. And North Carolina's cooled off a little bit here. Still shooting 50% overall.
Yeah, I would expect Notre Dame to go to Westbelt. Just watch her or Purnell screen and pop.
Westbelt with the screen right there. Yep. She goes and blocked. That time by Poole. 6 seconds on the shot clock, Holly.
Poole, this is about timing, and what does Poole do? Just gravitates to Westbelt. She's the player they want to make sure they defend. You know what? Get it out of here.
Couple freshmen matched up. A nice tip in on the inbounds play. The score, Chitenga. 8 seconds remaining in the half. Todd Williams can't get that to go. And after North Carolina led by as many as 14 points, Notre Dame has closed to within 4.
Well, Notre Dame is not going to go away easy. North Carolina started.
Has 6 players that have scored, and this is not something we expected. North Carolina with more three-pointers made than Notre Dame.
Well, they're deciding that they can make threes today, and they did it at the right time. They're very capable of doing it, and we said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's a young, talented team, and what team's going to show up? And this is an outstanding North Carolina team that showed up today.
Bailey blocked that one as Notre Dame tried to establish Maddie Westbeld inside.
Well, it's going to be tough for Westbeld to score over Bailey. She's got such a height difference, but just move her around, and Westbeld will learn from that. Try to get a better look.
Notre Dame led in scoring by Mabry with 9 points. Westbeld and Brunel also had right behind with 8 points each. This is a team that averages or has 4 players that average in double figures, as Prohaska will have stepped back to draw within 2. So as much as Notre Dame seemed out of it, they were down by 14 in the second quarter. They have closed it within 2 to start the third.
Well, the big run at the end of the second quarter really helped Notre Dame, and they hit 2 big threes, and what their defense got stops. So they're not just relying on their defense. Your defense can create great offensive opportunities for you, and that's what Notre Dame did the second half of the second quarter.
Watch to trigger it inbounds. The 3-point attempt short. by Deja Kelly. Kelly has been quiet in this game. She averages 12 points a game, but held to just 1 in the first half.
Great look by Notre Dame. Just screen and pop, just didn't, the ball didn't go down, but North Carolina cannot leave Westbelt open that much.
Chitinge with the offensive rebound to give another opportunity to North Carolina. Bailey tries to slide it in to Estby, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, you see Notre Dame is really paying attention to where Janelle Bailey is right now. And she was at the high post, and they conversed with 2 players on her. Janelle just couldn't make the pass down low.
High low, good look inside, and that's Anea Peoples. Peoples now with 4, and we're all tied up.
You'll see, look, Notre Dame is stretching their defense, but boy, they're really aware of where Bailey is right now. Always keeping a body on her, trying to keep her off.
Watts hits the 3. She's now in double figures, breaks the tie. Prohaska. Peoples with the board. That one gets away from Westbelt.
Just Westbelt dribbling into traffic. And what happens? Turnover. North Carolina really takes advantage of it. Gets a wide open layup in transition.
And then a nice block on this end by Chitange. Watts went to the floor. Slow to get up.
Like an ankle. And Brenda, as you know, if you hurt an ankle, I've hurt an ankle back a long time ago in my youth, but man, it is sore and it stays sore, and it looks like she just either rolled it or just aggravated it a little bit.
Watts now with 12 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, and it's worth noting that she went out with the 2 fouls with 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and that's when Notre Dame made a big part of their run. So North Carolina needs Stephanie Watts back on the court. She goes back into the tunnel for some medical treatment. Mabry at the line. The foul was called on Chitange.
Well, let's see if Notre Dame presses a little bit here, tries to slow up North Carolina's transition, their rhythm.
And then Mabry does just that after she makes 2 free throws. Excuse me, just the 1 free throw.
Not really a pressing team, but they've got to do something to change this rhythm that North Carolina has right now.
Bailey on the ACC logo tracks down her own miss. And it gets away from Chitange. Let's take a look back and see what happened with Watts as she was coming back down the court. Just got tangled up there with Vaughn and twisted her ankle, just backpedaling. Mabry in traffic. Beautiful bounce pass to set up Michaela Vaughn.
Boy, Mabry drew about 3 people because she's been the one that's been scoring. So what does she do? She dishes, goes underneath the defense for an easy pass down low. That was beautiful.
Top of the key 3-pointer for North Carolina. Olashinska now with 4 3-pointers today.
She's keeping them in the game, separating them from Notre Dame, and then you have Mabry. It's a little shooting contest, and it just so happens to be from the 3-point line.
And I want to correct that. Olashinska with 5 3-pointers. She's 5 of 8 from beyond the arc to lead the way with 15 for North Carolina. Tar Heels holding on to a 1-point lead here in the third quarter.
Nice high low.
Todd Williams can't tip it in.
Notre Dame is trying to run.
Brunel with the score. Another assist from Mabry, who now has 5 assists.
Up and down game, Brenda.
and the double team goes off the leg of Janelle Bailey.
North Carolina's trying to establish an inside-out game, and then you've got Mabry on the other end. Little step back three, making it look easy. Then she comes up and she draws attention. What does she do? Pass ahead for an easy layup. So Notre Dame's trying to be, they're starting to click on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, she not only has the skills her older sisters did and do, but she has the temperament as well, that competitive, fiery temperament.
Doesn't she? And we talked to Niele and said she's one of their best leaders on the floor, and that comes from having experience and then that just toughness to her.
From the corner, Mabry splashes it down.
And that was a contested three.
4-point lead for Notre Dame and a steal. They've got numbers all the way, and a foul, a little touch foul on Holoshinska, but it will send Peoples to the free throw line when we come back.
Well, that's a tough shot. That's somebody who shoots the three.
Mabry has had an outstanding game, especially here in the third quarter, Holly.
Well, she got a little angry or mad, or Niele must have jacked her up a little bit, because she has come alive and she's hit threes. Brenda, she's played great defense. She's led her team, and she's led it by energy, and that's been producing those long three-point shots as well.
Notre Dame hasn't missed a free throw in this game. They're 12 for 12 as Peoples connects on two. That was the third foul on Holoshinska before we went to the break. She's got the ball. They did correct her. We had her at 4 3-pointers, but she has 5 3-pointers, Petra Holoshinska.
Sorry, Brenda. So Notre Dame, out of the norm, what did they come out to after timeout? A man-to-man. So they're worried about the three-point shooting. They're trying to change the rhythm of North Carolina, and did just that.
Espy doesn't have numbers, but takes it in anyway and is fouled. Courtney Banghart really likes what this young player contributes.
Well, I like her too. She's a competitor, and she doesn't play like a freshman. She goes out and just plays the game, and she plays the game hard.
And probably one of the only weaknesses in her game so far is just shooting 52% from the free throw line, but she's averaging about 10 points a game for the Tar Heels. Back irons that one.
Don't jinx her, Brenda.
I don't think you can jinx her when I say she's not shooting well from the free throw line. That's the only part of her game that is down. She does everything else extremely well.
Yeah, she's still young, and she's going to continue to learn, but I love her effort.
Watts is back on the court for North Carolina, so that's so important, as she had turned her ankle earlier. Destiny Walker too long, and Watts tracks it down.
And North Carolina on the defensive end is switching on all screens and making it a little confusing for Notre Dame right now.
Knocked out of bounds. It will stay North Carolina basketball. Good hustle by Balou Chatenge. Brunel and Peoples will take a seat as Niele Ivey coaching him up on the sideline.
It's a great shot of Coach Ivey. It's always a teaching moment every time you come off that floor, and Niele's taking advantage of that and making sure her players understand how they need to get better.
Espy kicks it out. 2 on the shot clock. Holoshinska, no. Can't get that desperation heave to go. Prohaska went to the floor hard as she ran into a North Carolina player as she was running down the floor. Boy, it's just so good to see her back on the court after that medical red shirt last year. Was diagnosed with bilateral pulmonary embolism, had the blood clots, and she has been cleared to play. So it is so good to see number 12, Abby Prohaska, back on the court for Notre Dame. And the extra effort inside by Michaela Vaughn.
Well, Abby's the type of player, Brenda, that leads by example. She's just a blue-collar worker, and I love her toughness. She set out a whole year, and well, she came back even stronger and more in shape.
Great pass by Bailey. Katinga could not finish it. Good defense inside by Notre Dame. Destiny Walker pushing. Mabry with a three. No.
Just a battle on the boards. Both teams are going back and forth, and this game has really picked up the pace.
Watts with a three attempt. She gets that one to go.
Her ankle's feeling better.
I think so. A made three always makes the ankle feel better, right?
That's right.
15 points now to go along with her 8 assists and 6 rebounds. She's creeping up on a triple-double today.
But really, if Westbelt will step out, it's really a mismatch against Bailey, but Bailey's doing a great job of defending.
Westbelt has it stripped away by Watts. Well, she's on the floor, a battle. It will be a held ball.
Well, it worked out for the best because North Carolina is switching on the screen. So what did they do? They put a smaller guard on Westbelt.
There's a look back at that three. That three ties Watts for number 2 all-time in three-pointers made in North Carolina history.
Not bad when you leave and then come back.
Yeah, she left and transferred to do her grad work at USC, but only played in 4 games, so that year didn't count. So she was able to come back to North Carolina. She's part of a post-baccalaureate program here at UNC, so continuing to build on to her degrees. And after a rough start to the year, 1 of 26 from three-point range to start the year, she has been very good from beyond the arc these last couple of games, and her energy and leadership has meant so much to this team.
Well, it has, and when you go through the things she goes through, you lead by example, and she has great energy, and really excited for that young lady to have the opportunity to come back to North Carolina and finish her career and get yet probably another degree.
Well, here's our Big Monday men's basketball games on ESPN and the app. Number 13, Virginia, sits atop the ACC and hosts Syracuse at 7 Eastern. Then we head to the Big 12 for the matchup of the night. Number 12, Texas Tech, takes on number 14, West Virginia, in Morgantown. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Watts started her career here as the freshman of the year in the ACC. That junior season, the injury kind of slowed her, and then the injury in that grad year at USC. But it's good to see her back. Boy, Mabry is making a big impression in this game as she continues to light it up. 17 points now for Dara Mabry. Or excuse me, 20 now.
She just had to use the first quarter to warm up. She is finding the bottom of the net right now.
Oh, and that one spins in and out. I think Poole left thinking it was going down. And it rattled out of the rim. Mabry, no. And another offensive board. 9 offensive rebounds now for the Irish. They're out rebounding North Carolina, something that's happened to the Tar Heels the last couple of games.
Two chances, got wide open threes, just didn't go down, and North Carolina's having to come away from the basket a little bit more, so giving opportunities for second chance buckets, but Notre Dame could not capitalize on it.
Watts fading away, no. And Notre Dame outscores North Carolina 23-15 in the third quarter to take the 4-point lead. We'll be back with fourth quarter action here in Chapel Hill. At Virginia Tech, and when we asked Niele Ivey why that happened, she said that Notre Dame was actually looking at Jordan Nixon in that class, another scholarship for a combo guard. And Jordan said yes before Dara came to campus, and they were very sad about it because of the Mabry connection, and they weren't able to offer Dara at that time. But now with Niele as the head coach, and Dara leaving Virginia Tech after 2 seasons, she was able to come to Notre Dame and join the legacy of her sisters in the Notre Dame program.
And as a recruit, Brenda, you take that chance. If you don't commit, because colleges, the athlete is looking at several schools. The universities are looking at several schools. So you put it out there, and if you really want to go somewhere and you know that's where you want to go, you better speak up soon, because it just may happen like that. Somebody took that spot before she could say that's what she wanted to do.
Kayla Vaughn gets called for the offensive foul off the pick and roll.
Yeah, that's Kayla Vaughn. That's her second charge. She's got to get her head up. She's got to find the basket earlier and make sure no one's between her and the basket. If that happens, she's got to pull up and hit a jumper.
That was Watts rotating over. That was close, though. Vaughn looked like she got around her, but Watts outside the restricted arc. Turnover for North Carolina.
Boy, Burnell is really working hard and trying to establish position down low.
Mabry on the wing. 10 on the shot clock.
Oh, and you
there's
see
Prohaska. Yeah.
North Carolina is, look how many cuts they have through the lane.
Didn't hit the rim, so it's a shot clock violation.
Good job by North Carolina countering all those tough cuts. They had about 3 cuts across the lane. North Carolina did a great job of stalling the offense, forcing a shot clock violation.
So what does Courtney Banghart and her team need to do here? They started off so well in the first half. They were shooting over 50% for much of the first half. They're just down by 4 here at home. What do they need to do here to close this gap?
Well, when they started pulling away, they went to Janelle Bailey quite a bit. She had some shots around the basket. She had some high post looks, and I think Notre Dame has taken that away. Petra hit some big threes. You got to get her. Stephanie Watts seems to be the player that's really ignited this offense. So look to Watts, get involved, and maybe Bailey. But boy, Notre Dame is really keen on Bailey right now.
So several subs in and out. Poloshinska gets it into Janelle Bailey. Poole is in with her, number 31 there. Boy, she would have been the recipient of a nice pass, but a foul was committed by Notre Dame before that happened.
Well, you see how concerned Notre Dame is with Bailey. They brought 2 over. Westbell just got to get her hands off of her. They brought 2 over, and when you do that, you better have good rotation on the weak side, and because someone obviously is going to be open because you're double teaming.
Second foul for Westbell. Poloshinska steps back. Nope. North Carolina with another chance at it. Watts gets it to go.
There we go. Watts. It's okay. We'll miss a shot. Just kick it back out to me.
Watts now with 20 points. She's 4 of 8 from behind the line. 3 for 6 in their last game at Syracuse after such a tough start to the season from three-point range. But North Carolina now down 1, has a chance but a walk.
And Brenda, it's so important that you watch Notre Dame. What do? They stop the first look. You can't let them have second chance points in North Carolina rebounds. Watts is wide open. She's going to hit that shot.
Good defense by Ustby to knock it away. 3-on-3 break. Watts pulls up. Oh, and just over the outstretched arms of Poole. And it can go back down the other end to Walker.
Back and forth, and that's what happens when Watts, she shot a quick 3, but you know what? She's been making them, so let it fly. But Notre Dame gets the rebound, throws the ball down court for an easy look. Up and down game, Brenda.
Yeah. Oh, the pass to Ustby. Boy, she was wide open on that cut.
Just slipped the screen. That's just what Ustby has to do, read the defense, and she read it perfectly.
Mabry blocked by Poole. North Carolina again with an opportunity to take the lead.
Well, that's not Mabry's game. Mabry, you just stay out and shoot your jump shot, and you're driving in, dish it off to a post. Ooh, they missed Burnell. She was wide open.
Walker puts it on the floor, has the mismatch here against Bailey. Doesn't get around her, though. Westbeld goes to the left hand.
Boy, she just uses her body so well. Gets early position, checks the defense, and turns away. And nice look at the basket.
3 players now in double figures for Notre Dame. Mabry with 20, Brunel and Westbeld both have 10. Westbeld looked like she was in trouble and then just steps back and hits the J.
Looks like she was 3-second rule was not applied to her, but she got composure. She watched what the defense was doing, made a great play.
1-point game. Earlier in the game, North Carolina led by as many as 14, but Notre Dame came back, took the lead in the third. Their biggest lead is 6. That one gets away from Estby, though. Boy, every time North Carolina has had a chance to go ahead, they've either turned it over or missed the shot. And now they commit the foul and will send Peoples to the free throw line.
I'm not sure if we're watching a basketball game or a track meet, but Notre Dame is attacking off the defensive play, and Peoples does a great job of getting composure, drawing the foul. Now she's going to the free throw line.
The foul was called on Holoshinska, who picked up her 4th foul.
And Notre Dame needed a 3 right there and just getting it the old-fashioned way.
Peoples at the line, and still Notre Dame has not missed a free throw today. 13 of 13 now.
Brent, if you're going to win on the road, you got to hit layups and free throws, and right now Notre Dame's doing both of those.
Holoshinska, who has made 5 3-pointers today, gets the screen inside the arc this time. That's her first 2-pointer of the day. High low to Westbeld. It was knocked out of bounds, though, by Stephanie Watts.
So what does North Carolina do? They're switching on ball screens, and Notre Dame try to take advantage of it. Had Bailey on Mabry, and then so Brunel had a small player inside trying to force it down in. Just couldn't handle the ball.
Deja Kelly checked in for Holoshinska, and another 3-pointer for Mabry. She's got 5.
Wow, such a quick release. The defense was there. That kid can score.
Her 8th double-figure game of the year. She's shooting 46% from 3-point range, even better than that today with 50%.
Well, Brenda, that's better than I shot on layup, so I tell you, I credit that young lady.
Beautiful pass by Mabry to set up. Ooh, that was Vaughn inside, yes.
North Carolina's got to get a handle on Mabry, got to know where she is. Whether she's shooting or passing, got to get a little bit more ball pressure on her.
Biggest lead of the game for the Irish. They're on an 8-2 run. Backdoor pass done nicely, completed. Chitenge with the bucket. Let's take a look back, though, at Notre Dame.
Boy, quick, you better know where that kid is. She can score. She just competitors, and they're leading their teams. Not only from you see all the scoring, but their energy level is so up, and it's a great example of both these two kids leading their team today.
Yeah, Mabry 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. Watts 4 for 9 from 3-point range. Watts closing in on a potential triple-double with her 9 assists and 8 rebounds. Here she has the steal. Goes behind her, back in traffic. What a score for Stephanie Watts to bring North Carolina within 3.
Okay, Watts. Like it. She shoots from the 3, and what does she do? Goes behind her back. Makes it look easy for the 2.
A beautiful move in traffic as she is defending her old teammate there, Destiny Walker. Excuse me, that was Kelly out on Walker. And the miss inside. Deja Kelly in for Holoshinska right now, who has the 4 fouls and has been red hot from behind the arc. Watts can't get it to bank in, and then a foul committed on the floor. Notre Dame up by 3.
And Watts is a one-woman wrecking crew. She's
4 more in double figures. They've got 4 in double figures today, but they're down 3 with 3:19 to go. As we take a look at bracketology, of course, Louisville and NC State number 1 and number 2 in the country. Notre Dame right now projected as a number 10 seed. North Carolina on the bubble, so an important game for both of them as both these teams have Louisville and NC State upcoming.
Well, lots on the line, and right now they've picked up the tempo and their commitment to playing hard. So you can tell it's getting close to the end of the game, and both teams want to walk. Both teams want to walk away with a W.
Well, and they haven't gone. North Carolina hasn't gone to Bailey much. I don't believe she scored here in the second half, so she has a chance to go to the free throw line. Westbeld picks up her 4th foul.
Well, Brenda, you're not going to go to Bailey right now.
Well, coming up next over on the ACC network and the ESPN app, number 1, Louisville is in Winston-Salem squaring off against Wake Forest, and we cap the afternoon with number 2, NC State hosting Virginia Tech. You don't have ACCN? Go to ACCN.com for instant access.
Well, Brenda, I was saying you probably don't really need to go to Bailey right now when Watts is just playing lights out.
2-point ball game with 3 minutes remaining here in Chapel Hill. Prohaska bounce passes to Vaughn. Big drop step, scores, tough shot inside.
So what did Notre Dame do? They hadn't hit their last couple of shots outside. They pound the ball inside.
Watts with 22 points. Holoshinska back in the ball game. A foot on the line this time. No. And that's a big offensive rebound by Chitenge.
Big offensive rebound. Time and possession, and you can't just, Notre Dame can't keep giving North Carolina extra possessions, but boy, North Carolina is working hard to get that rebound.
Holoshinska with the 3, her 6th of the day, and draws North Carolina within 1.
And what does that extra possession give? Cuts the lead to 1.
2 minutes remaining in the game. The high low to Brunell, scoops it back over her shoulder, tries to tip it out, and Watts comes up with it. Watts has numbers, and it's tipped away from behind by Walker. North Carolina will inbound it. Take a look at that Holoshinska 3-pointer.
Well, Bailey got in trouble, and what did he do? She was way outside the 3, and she's feeling it. When you're feeling it, you need to get her the ball.
North Carolina has not led since the 6:14 mark in the 3rd quarter. They've got a chance here. Holoshinska, a 2-pointer, is going to try to get a 3-point play the old-fashioned way with the foul.
Well, she gets tired of shooting the 3, Brendan. What does she do? She drives the basket and she draws the foul. Great job. Shoots a little floater, makes the play.
Well, what a day for the transfer from Illinois, the native of the Czech Republic. She gives North Carolina the lead. And Petra Holoshinska misses the free throw. 1:40 to go. Notre Dame now down by a point.
Boy, North Carolina has missed. They've missed a lot of free throws right now.
Inside, the foul committed by Chitenge. And it will send Notre Dame to the free throw line where, Holly, they have not missed today. 13 of 13 from the line so far for the Irish.
Well, the Irish are a little hesitant of who they want shooting the ball. So Peoples, I guess, a little shot fake goes in, draws the foul. And it's, as you said, Brenda, a high percentage shot right now for Notre Dame.
Now, although Anea Peoples not a great free throw shooter, she makes that one. She's only made 47% of her free throws on the season, but she has been good today. Found her rhythm. And no, she misses the second, so we're all tied up. Watts falling backwards. And Holoshinska going to set things up. So,
ahead.
Foul going to be called on Destiny Walker. And North Carolina is in the bonus, so Wolashinska will go to the free throw line.
Just not a good foul away from the basket. Make her make a play. Just almost bailing her out on the drive.
22 points so far. And this ties a season high now for Wolashinska with the 23. More importantly, gives North Carolina a 1-point lead. Now a 2-point lead. Season highs for Wolashinska as well as Stephanie Watts. And they have put North Carolina in the lead here.
Get it to, could go inside, but just got to, I think the ball's got to go through those two players' hands.
And Mabry has been fantastic today. 23 points, 7 assists for Notre Dame. On the other side, Stephanie Watts is nearing a triple-double as she has 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists for North Carolina.
So you see North Carolina just wanting to get into a little press, trying to take time off the clock, and they're in a zone, and they haven't been in a zone all day. There's Westbeld underneath.
And she gets it to her, and then how about that? Usby with the steal takes it away. Freshman on freshman.
No, you got to make that you got to deliver that pass, and that's what a good defensive play, and gives North Carolina a chance to get a great shot off.
Usby out to Janelle Bailey. No. And a foul going to be committed on Chitenge as she tried to knock the ball out. Are they going to call it on her? Yes. But that's just the third team foul for North Carolina.
Maybe shoot a three or Westbeld screen and pop. But they can go for the sure thing going inside, depending on what defense North Carolina is running right now.
And North Carolina has a foul to give in this situation. They get it in. Peoples drives, and then a foul committed on the floor. No shot. So on the rebound, a foul. And if that's on North Carolina, Usby, that's just the fourth team foul. So no free throws.
It gives us back to the inbounders. A lot of times people forget about guarding the inbounder, and they forgot about Peoples, and she just missed the layup.
So inbounding is Notre Dame down 2. Westbeld spins off the backboard too hard, and a foul going to be called as Stephanie Watts secures the rebound, and it's going to be a foul on Peoples. So Stephanie Watts will walk the court and go to the free throw line. Notre Dame missing opportunities to tie it.
Westbeld got a good look, just went too hard to the basket, and you got to secure that weak side rebound. And there you see Westbeld making a move, a little too strong, and boy, great box out on the backside, and that is so important for North Carolina.
The last time these two met here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina came away with the win, but it was a little different circumstance. Notre Dame was the #1 ranked team in the country the last time they played here, and North Carolina got the win. Now North Carolina is just trying to break a 3-game win streak for Notre Dame and trying to win their first game in 2021. Watts can make it a 2-possession game, and she does. 2 free throws for Stephanie Watts. She's at 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists, and gives North Carolina the 4 points. Have led the way with 24 points each. But now Notre Dame with 7 seconds remaining, 4 points down.
Well, North Carolina's, they've got fouls to give, so you're going to see when the ball comes in, they're going to foul. They're going to give maybe a couple seconds off the clock, and then they're going to foul.
From the corner, Westbeld, no. The offensive rebound by Peoples, and it's going to send Peoples to the free throw line with 3.3. So 3.3 remaining. Peoples misses the first. That's the first free throw missed. Excuse me, the second free throw missed for Notre Dame today. And Notre Dame has had had its opportunities here in the last minute. Misses the second free throw, and who else but Stephanie Watts there with the board. 12 rebounds now for the grad student.
Just a gutsy performance by Stephanie Watts. I can't say enough of what she did for this team today. And you know, you have Petra hitting twos, but Stephanie Watts was the glue for this team. And boy, she has delivered today and giving North Carolina a solid win against Notre Dame.
Just one assist away from a triple-double. But she'll take the victory. The 24 points right now, 12 rebounds. Back irons that one.
She said, I've scored enough.
Well, North Carolina needed this. They have not won any games here since the calendar turned to 2021. And they get their first ACC victory of the calendar year. Big win for North Carolina, Holly.
Well, they deserve to celebrate. They came out on fire, settled in a little bit, but boy, they